Evening, folks. Welcome back to FinFlam Unfiltered. I'm your host, Big John. Today, we're talking about Trump accounts, the new children's savings vehicle that has parents searching in huge numbers. People want to know how to enroll, how the money works, and what happens if someone dies, who is signing up, who is not, who supports it, who does not, and whether this is one of the most successful long-term things the Trump administration has done for the public. We're going through all of it. No jargon, easy to follow, easy to say out loud. Let's go. A Trump account is a special type of individual retirement account created for children. It was established under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, signed in 2025. Here are the basic rules. The account is open in the children's name. A parent or guardian acts as a custodian until the child turns 18. After that, the child takes control, and the account generally works like a regular, traditional IRA. Any child under 18 who has a valid Social Security number can have one. There is a limit of one Trump account per child. There is a pilot program that gives a one-time $1,000 contribution from the federal government. That seed money is only for children who are United States citizens born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, and who have a valid Social Security number. Parents, guardians, employers, nonprofits, and every state or local government can add more money. The annual contribution limit is $5,000 total per child. That limit is expected to rise after 2027. The money grows tax-deferred. During the early years, called the growth period, you generally cannot take the money out. The main exceptions are the death of the child or returning excess contributions. When the child reaches the year they turn 18, more normal IRA rules start to apply. The accounts are invested, typically, in market-based options such as ETFs, so the balance can grow over time with the market. But how do you actually open one? Is it done at the hospital? This is one of the biggest questions parents are asking. It is not automatic. Nurses at the hospital do not hand you a form and sign the baby up on the spot. There is no delivery room opt-in. Parents or guardians have to take action themselves. You can do it in two main ways. First, by filing IRS Form 4547, the Trump account election form. Second, by using the official online portal at trumpaccounts.gov. Once you make the election, the Treasury Department or its agent sends information so you can activate the account through an authentication process. Full account access and the ability to contribute opened in early July 2026, around the 4th of July. You need the child's Social Security number and basic identifying information. The process is designed to be done by the parent or authorized adult, not by the hospital staff. Well, how does the money work? The government seed of $1,000, if the child qualifies, goes in as a starting balance. Parents or others can add up to $5,000 per year. The money is invested. Because it sits for many years, compound growth is the big idea. Even the modest market returns over 15 or 18 years can turn a small starting amount into a much larger sum by the time the child becomes an adult. There are also private matches. Some larger philanthropic groups, including the Dell Foundation and the Dalio family, have committed extra money for certain children that can add hundreds of dollars more on top of the federal seed. The account stays tax-deferred while it grows. That means you do not pay tax on the gains each year the way you would in a regular taxable brokerage account. And the reality is, what happens if the child dies? Well, if the child who owns the account dies during the growth period, the account stops being a Trump account and stops being treated as an IRA on the date of death. The fair market value of the assets at the time of death, minus any basis, is generally included in the income of the person who inherits it or the child's estate. Money does not go back to the government. It does not disappear. It does go to the designated recipient or the estate according to the rules that apply. That is why naming a beneficiary or understanding that the succession rules matter. The exact process for designating who receives the money is still being clarified in some guidance, but the core rule is that the funds are distributed and become taxable to the recipient. What happens if the parent or custodian dies? The account still belongs to the child, not the parent. If the parent or the adult acting as custodian dies, the account does not vanish. A new authorized individual or successor custodian can be appointed to manage it on behalf of the child until the child reaches 18. The money stays in the child's name and continues to grow under the same rules. How many people have signed up for the Trump accounts? As of late July 2026, enrollment is in the millions. Early in the year, the IRS reported about 4 million children signed up, with roughly 1 million of those claiming the $1,000 pilot contribution. By early July, Social Security Administration figures put the number at about 6 million enrolled. Later reports and statements around the full launch put the figure in the range of 6 to 7 million children. These are still early numbers. The full contribution window only opened in July 2026, so the total is expected to keep climbing through the rest of the year and into 2027 as more parents learn about the program and complete the election process. Exact year-end 2026 and 2027 projections are not locked-in official forecasts yet, but given the current pace and the marketing push, several more million enrollments by the end of 2026 are realistic if awareness continues to grow. Next year will depend on how easy the process remains and how strongly the administration and private partners promote it. A large share of early enrollees have come from households earning under $200,000. Well, who supports and who doesn't? Supporters, mainly Republicans and the White House. They call it a generational wealth tool. They say it gives every eligible child a stake in the American economy from the start. They point to the tax-deferred growth, the private matching gifts, and the higher early enrollment as proof it is working. Some Democrats who have long supported baby bond style ideas also see it as a useful first step, even if they want it expanded or made permanent. Opposition comes mostly from Democrats who argue it is too small, too political, or a branding exercise. Some have publicly told constituents to skip it. Others worry it could be used later as a step toward changing Social Security. A few critics say the $1,000 seed only for certain birth years leaves many children out, and that the opt-in process will leave lower income or less informed families behind. The divide is partly partisan and partly philosophical. One side sees private ownership and market growth as a path to wealth. The other side prefers larger, more automatic government transfers or different structures. For supporters of Donald Trump, they have a question. Is this or can this be the most successful long-term thing the Trump administration will do for the public? The honest answer, it's too early to crown it an achievement or a bust, but it has potential. On the positive side, the enrollment numbers are strong for a brand new program. Millions of children already have accounts. The structure encourages actual ownership and long-term compounding. Private philanthropy is adding real extra money. Financial education modules are built in. If markets perform reasonably and families keep contributing, many of these children will reach adulthood with meaningful balances that would not have existed otherwise. On the other side, the federal seed is limited to 4 birth years. It is opt-in, so take-up will never be 100%. The long-term impact depends heavily on future contribution behavior and market returns. Other policies, such as broad tax cuts or regulatory changes, may affect more people immediately. It is one of the most clear attempts to create lasting individual assets for the next generation. Whether it becomes a standout success will be measured in 10 and 20 years by how much money is actually in these accounts and how many young adults use it for education, a home, or retirement. Right now, it is a strong start with real potential, not a finished verdict. In closing, Trump accounts are real. They launched in July 2026, this month. Parents open them through the IRS form or the official website. The government puts $1,000 for eligible babies born 2025 through 2028. Families and others can add up to $5,000 a year. The money grows tax-deferred until the child is an adult. If the child dies, the money goes to the estate or the designated recipient and becomes taxable. If the parent dies, the account stays with the child under a new custodian. Millions have already signed up. More are expected. Support tracks largely with the party that created it. Critics say it is too limited. The long-term test will be how much wealth these accounts actually build for the children who hold them. Thanks for listening. I'm Big John, and this has been FinFlam Unfiltered.